तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good
Today we
morning.
have with us Tejus Kalyankar. He is recommended in his second attempt for CDS entry, non-technical. He will be joining with Shreyam Raj. So welcome, Tejas. Please start with what motivated you to join the defense services.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me here. And first of all, I would like to thank everyone who has joined the session. And so, ma'am, the first motivation, there was not as such like people have that I want to join the defense forces from the while they are children or like they start trying it from India itself. So I had it as a backup option a couple years back. But when I came to know that there's a certain age limit for joining the defense forces, then I tried to put forward my best foot and decided that I want to join the defense forces, particularly Indian Army for that reason. And what motivated me was that during COVID, after graduation, I had no job, so I was freelancing, and my lifestyle was very, you could say, disorganized or undisciplined. I used to wake up till late night and edit videos and photos, and then sleep in the morning, wake again in the afternoon or sometime. So, and that was also hampering with my physical health. And I try to keep my physical health as my priority. So it clicked in me that this is not the kind of life I want to live for the rest of my life. So after that, I looked up my options and saw a few videos of this IMA cadets routine on YouTube. In that, I came to know that they are waking up at 4 a.m. and their schedule is pinpoint and everything is like clockwork. So I decided that this is the kind of lifestyle I want to live for the rest of my life, and that's when I decided that I'll put my best foot forward for joining the Indian Army, and thereafter I started my preparation. After that, I also watched Laksh movie, and I resonated extremely well with the main character, and it helped me to gain a strong footing in this chapter that I also need to be able to do this.
Okay, Laksh movie also has some reference in our practical guidebook to become an officer. Please tell us when did you join NFA?
Ma'am, I joined NFA last year in February, and after that, I had initial interview with Colonel Nehru sir, and after that interview, it was very clear to me what I needed to do and what the roadmap was, because I did not have a job till then, and I was not able to clear my first attempt of CDS, which happened in November 2021. So after the initial interaction, he gave me a roadmap, and thereafter I was able to work upon it.
So exactly tell us how did you work on what feedback you received and how you improved yourself on that feedback.
So, ma'am, the initial feedback was that you are physically fit, but you need to still maintain that and improve in few areas like strength, like pull-ups and all these exercises. And thereafter, my English was good according to him, but then he said that I'm very irresponsible kid. I do not have a job. I do not take up responsibilities easily. So my first impression was that I need to get a job after this April CDS exam, which was scheduled. So after the April CDS exam was finished, I pulled my shoes and like I started trying here and there for a job. And finally, I got a job in Goa itself. It was a small startup, but and they were paying me like very less, but I did not care. I just wanted to work. I just wanted to learn, and I wanted to improve myself and work upon the roadmap which was provided. So after I got the job, I started seeing few changes. That my routine also became much better, and thereafter it was smooth sailing. And for the English, I also tried reading newspapers daily, as suggested by sir. And also I participated in this NFA 30 group hosted by Maninder in the evening 8 p.m. session. So that also removed my any queries like not queries but any constraints I had with social bonding or communication skills.
Okay, okay. And some struggles you faced during your SSB attempts.
Ma'am, in my SSB, first SSB, which was at Bhopal in last year in November, there were no struggles which I faced. Although I was not aware about how the basic struggle I faced was in GTO and interview. The GTO, I had a few ideas, but I was not able to put them forward properly. And during interview, I was like, when I was walking in, I was very confident. But as soon as I walked in and I sat there and the interviewing officer started putting questions to me, I became very flustered, and it took a toll on my thinking process that what should I answer next, because they were completely unexpected questions, like you are not vaccinated and you are not traveling on your own money and these kinds of questions. So I was like, ma'am, I haven't prepared for these kind of questions. So these are the basic obstacles. Otherwise, I gelled very well with my group in Bhopal as well as Jalandhar. And psychology, I cannot comment upon it. So I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay. We should not actually. Nah.
Yes, ma'am.
So please tell in brief about your recommendation attempt, the experience that you can share with us. Recommendation attempt, Jalandhar.
So, ma'am, we reported on 13th of April to Jalandhar. There was only 50 of us because 16th of April was CDS exam. So the screening process, they gave us an OIR. The OIR was extremely easy. And 2 sets, it was complete before time only. After that, there was a picture shown. The picture was of 5 to 6 people sitting with their laptops open in a library-like setup. So in that, I made a simple story that they are IIT Bombay students, and they are preparing a website for their cultural fest, Mood Indigo. So after the story was written, I was easily able to jot it down, and I continuously started repeating it in my mind before the narration starts. So I at least narrated it in myself for around like 15-20 times, and everyone was gossiping, and I was like continuously narrating. And as soon as the narration started, I gave a fluid narration, although I got stuck on third or fourth line, but then I again caught up. So that was done. But after narration, it was GD, and I tried to convince my group that let's make a common story around DBMS or something. And they were not getting convinced. So I said, okay, let's make your story whatever it is. And our group was the only group which did not have a common story at the end of the discussion time. But yeah, that's pretty much it's for screening. 36 people were screened in out of 50. I was chest number 22. And after the documentation and the allotment of the lines was done, we were free for the day. So I took that time to know the roommates much better, because they are going to be my GTO group for the next day. So after that, next day was psychology test. Psychology test, I wrote very simple stories. I did not change anything regarding the writing of the story. I wrote similar as Bhopal. And in that, I missed the first word itself. So it was very flustering. Then again, after 60 words were completed, I came back to the first word, wrote a good sentence about it. And SRT, I was able to do 54 SRTs. And one thing I would like to say is all 5 people which got recommended did more than 50 SRTs. And I was able to do 54 SRTs. I wrote prompt responses, very brief, 2 lines maximum, separated them by commas. And in self-description, I prepared the self-description well beforehand. So I gave it and wrote it in around 10 to 12 minutes. I had 3 minutes left. I went back, checked all my responses, completed one of the SRTs which was left. And psychology was over that day. After that, we started playing volleyball and gelled well with the group. Next day was GTO, ma'am. So GTO first was the GD. We got a very simple topic like there's a war. Wars are increasing these days by day. So what are the reasons for that? Like religion or something like that. So I spoke upon one lead, and my group was very well, ma'am. My group was, I would say, the best group out of all the groups. They were very well gelled with together, and they were cooperating with each other. Everyone got the point. No fish market situation happened. Nothing. And everyone at least got like 2, 3 to 4 opportunities to speak. And second GD also went by like this. Thereafter, we had our GP. Then GP, we wrote the plan. My group for the common, as they were going for some other solution. So I told them that this is not a feasible thing. They were convinced actually, and they nominated me to narrate the common group plan. So around 5 people were nominating me, 4 to 5, for giving the common group plan. And he said, "Gentlemen, if you all permit me to," and he did. And as soon as he did, I knew that I should have done it. So I remember that was my biggest mistake in this attempt. So after the GP was over, I realized my mistake, and after that PGT started. PGT, I was leading the group. Also, I was, and because of that, our group was also able to complete all the 4 obstacles in the progressive group task. In half group task also, we did it very comfortably, no problem at all. My group was again very cooperative, amazing people. So that after the half group task, there was snake race, and in snake race, we were always like, whenever the GTO was giving us penalties, he was asking us the mistakes, like how many mistakes you made, and I was the only one shouting like 2 mistakes, and no one else. I was looking at the back, and I was like, why are you guys not telling? So it was very, and then again he said, no, you did not do 2 mistakes, you made 3 mistakes, and these things. So again I said 3 mistakes. So he said, no, three, not three, you made 5 mistakes. So I was always ready to, take the front. Like if anything happens, I am going to shout out my mistakes because I know how many mistakes we did all together. So GOR happened, ma'am. It was very good. At the end, all the teams won, I would say. Nothing specific about it. And we had our individual obstacles the same day instead of lecture 8, as the Jalandhar ground is a little small. So in my individual obstacles, I tried to follow all the rules, and also did not cross any red mark or anything like that. Whatever was instructed, shouted at the top of my lungs during Tarzan swing and commando walk. And I was able to do 12 obstacles in this way before the whistle, before the GTO blew his whistle. And most of the people got their hands like छिल गए थे उनके हाथ रस्सी से टार्जन स्विंग और टाइगर लीप के टाइम पे, but mine were pretty intact. So that was again a decent thing. So after that, ma'am, our GTO was over, and I was instantly called up for the interview. My interview was on GTO day 1 again. So I again went instantly, took a bath, changed in my formal clothes, and went for the interview. Ma'am, should I come to interview later or after
Yes,
the
yes. Please
GTO?
continue. Please continue.
Okay, so after for the GTO day 2, we had our command task. So before that, we had a lecture 8. So lecture 8, the topics were very easy. I think it was squad, which I spoke upon. And the topics also seemed very old, like India-Russia relations. These days, the topics are becoming very a little tough and difficult to speak upon. But ours was very easy. So I spoke upon quad. I spoke for 3 minutes well. And after that, our command task began. In command task, I was called up 5 times, and as a subordinate. And my command task was a circular shaped command task. And when I gave the idea of entering, uh, I thought that it is not going to work. So I changed the idea and applied it from a different pathway, and that worked. So again, GTO told me, okay, now you are in, now go out. And how will you go out? I was applying ideas for going out. Then he was also helping a little bit. And then again, he told that the first idea you gave me was the only idea I wanted. I don't know why you were not confident about it. If you would have been, you would have saved your 7 to 8 minutes right now. So I was very dejected again, that again my confidence is taking a back foot here. But I kept at it. He asked me, okay, Commander, your time is over. Do you want more time? I said, yes, sir, I want 2 more minutes. And after that 2 more minutes, I was able to find a way out for the bomb task. It was a bomb task, circular bomb task. So I think it was also the most difficult task in my group, in all of the people which got. So after that, again, we had our final group task, and final group task again went very smoothly. group cooperated very well. We had a very good teamwork. GTU sir also praised us that I haven't seen such a thing in all my tenure at the SSB. So we are really happy about it. And GTO day 2, after that, we were free to do things. Coming back to interview, ma'am, my interview went for an average of 35 to 40 minutes. And as soon as I entered, the interviewer asked me, "Oh, you are coming from Goa. Tell me 3 places you would like to visit. Anyone or suggest anyone." So I told him 3 different places, like church, a temple, and a beach. So he was like, "Okay, quite diverse." I was like, "Yeah, sir." Then he started with his usual questions about education, family, and then he came to some tough questions, and like not tough questions, ma'am, but they were tough for me because I was not from a technical background. And he started asking me, "Tell me, how does the fan spin?" And so I was grilled a little bit there. And then again, he asked me which arms of service you would like to join. Some questions related to the army. Some questions also were there from my how do you spend your salary. And after that, he asked, like, made some maths question out of it, that if you spend 1500 on fuel and this is your mileage, this is the rate of the fuel, how much do you travel in a month? So like that. So my maths was like tested there then in itself. And also he asked me about daily routines. So I told him, and then he again made some math question out of it, that if you run 6 kilometers in 30 minutes, how much would you run in 5 minutes? So these are the kinds of questions he was asking, but I was very focused on the kind of questions he was putting forward. And I gave honest answers, ma'am, as I had already introspected myself over and over. I had sat with my dad and mom, asked them what my shortcomings are, also I did this with my friends. And this helped me a lot in putting forward good answers, like honest and real answers. I also had a few mistakes in my answers, like he asked me which is the smallest continent. So I told him Australia. So he said, "You sure about it?" So I said, "Sir, either Antarctica or Australia." So then he said, "Tell me one." So I said Antarctica. So these are the simple questions which I missed. But then again, I was continuously making notes of where I was making mistakes, so that I could rectify them in the conference if anything is asked. So after that, he asked me that you have all boyfriends, you don't have any girlfriend or anything. So I said, "No, sir, I have girlfriends." So he said, "Earlier you were lying to me that you don't have any girlfriends." So then again, I told him, "No, sir, they are my friends who are girls." So he then asked me a few questions regarding that. So this kept on going for like 35, 40 minutes. And ma'am, interview was done. And after that, coming to the conference day, ma'am, I was asked to be waited for around 10 minutes outside the conference hall. And when I went in, my conference lasted for around 20 minutes. So it was like a mini interview again. And then they asked me questions related to my name, that your name is Tejas. There's also a plane named after you. Tell me about it. So I told them. And then they asked me, "You're from Air Force School. Why do you want to join the army?" So I told them, why do I want to join the army rather than why I cannot join the Air Force. So again, then he asked me, kept on asking me questions. How do you help your mother? How much time would you require to prepare yourself for the academy, and all these questions. In the last, he asked this question again, that if you had been given any chance to repeat any task in the past 3 days, which one it would be? I initially knew that what I had to say, and I said it. Sir, I would like to repeat the group planning exercise, and I would like to grip the common group plan. And from the side of the eye, I could see the GTO, and he was smiling and he was nodding his head. So I was like, I must have said something right. That's why he's doing that. So when I came out of the conference hall, I was very confident that I would have made it. Till that point, it was 99%. But when I came out, uh, I was sure of it that I would have made it. I would have given my best. They also asked me, like, what is your backup plan if you don't get selected? So I said that, "Sir, I have performed really well this time. I will get selected." They again put forward a question that, "Okay, suppose if you don't get selected." "No, sir, I have performed well. I will get selected." And they kept on pestering me about it. He asked me, "Then if any medical something comes out, then you won't be selected." "Sir, I would try for TA." I simply told. So he was like, "Okay, okay, you can go now." So after the initial suggestions, like any suggestions you would like to give, I was free. I was again back to there. When the results were announced, ma'am, my chest number was the first one announced. So I stood up, gave my intro and the UPSC roll number. and I took my plus sign and stood on the side. The other 4 were announced, and thereafter the SSB was over, ma'am.
Okay. I could feel the confidence and practical sense. Not necessary studious kind of, but yes, very very practical person. Please tell us how NFA helped you overall.
Ma'am, so first thing was the first interaction with Nehru sir. I really thank him for that he put me on the right line, guiding me that what I exactly needed to do, and especially with the job part, because I remember that on 3rd September when, or I think it was 4th September last year when I gave the exam. On that particular day, I realized that if I did not get the job, I definitely wouldn't have been selected for the SSB. So even though I hadn't given any SSBs as of now. So that was the first thing. After that, I continuously and regularly joined this NFA sessions, which were conducted by Maninder evening at 8 p.m. And the group there also, they were very knowledgeable and very helpful regarding all the feedback and solving all the doubts which they had, which anyone had. So, people like Anurag, Maninder, Kunal, Jeevan, these are they had very distinct personalities, but I took some good parts of everyone and like tried to mend it according to my personality, and then also took a lot of knowledge from these guys because I'm weak in some political knowledge. So Jeevan and Kunal had really good political knowledge, and Anurag also conducted this bonding exercises in the evening, which helped us fear of anxiousness and things like that. So that was how NFL helped me, and I would also like to say, ma'am, that at the end I realized that it is the competence which takes a person to his success. So and that book also, ma'am, that practical guide to become an officer, I read it 2 times, and also when I went to Bhopal stay, there was where I was staying, there was same book kept. And I would like to say, ma'am, that one of the guys who got recommended along with me in Jalandhar, he said, tell Colonel Nehru sir that I only got recommended by reading this book and watching his videos. I did nothing else, nothing different. And that was his first SSB and last SSB. So his name was Ankit. So thank you, sir, for also helping
Recommending
Ankit
another
getting recommended.
person.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay, I
absolutely.
acknowledge
Yes,
his thanks, and I'm so happy it worked for him.
I give this to
Yes, sir.
Nehru sir from now.
हाँ, तेजस कई सवाल है. पहले तो ये बताइए. You see, now that you are speaking, I'm able to recollect sometimes by things go out of my mind because I keep interacting with so many people, and I'm an old person. थोड़ा fade हो रही है, memory and all that. तो जो था, this you transformed yourself for the good over a period of time. You tell me, did you find it difficult or did it came quite easily to you? Reforming your habits, daily habits, routine, and all that.
So, sir, actually, when I joined NFA, I think 7 to 8 months before that, I was automatically in that routine of waking up at 4 a.m. and going to sleep at 9:30. I was very particular about these two things. And between, I was studying a lot because I did not had a job back then. But initially, I did not feel as such to that I am facing difficulties reforming my habits, because I was already in that mold. I just needed to know where to put my more time, take out some time from somewhere else, according to the roadmap, and then thereafter I made the changes, and I was able to cope up with it very easily. I used to come from office and instantly have my food and join the NFA sessions. So I and used to wake up at 4. So I had 4 hours or 4.5 hours before I go to office. So for utilizing them in physical exercise or reading newspaper, something like that.
When was the time that you started feeling that अभी मैं ठीक ठाक हूँ, अब बात बन जानी चाहिए?
Sir, it was around when I had talked with you after I got rejected from Bhopal. So you said keep on doing what you have done. Next time में बात बन जानी चाहिए. But that time I was like, यार अगर यही करना था तो इस टाइम में बात क्यों नहीं बनी? So I was like, okay, let it be. But then I kept on working, and then I also talked to you again that I'm going to Jalandhar for this interview. And then you said, okay, I think you'll make it. Just be normal. And sir, I think one other thing is that desperation. If you're desperate for getting recommended, it will hamper your chances somewhere or the other. I remember in Bhopal, I was not desperate as such, but what was happening was I was not able to enjoy the process. Everyone was playing games till night. I was sleeping at 9 and waking up at 4, and I was not bonding well with the group or these kinds of things. But this time I gelled well with them. I talked with them. We stayed till 10, 12, played some games, and that really helped me. So at around when I took my job, after 1 or 2 months, I realized that I'll make it.
Okay, that is good. Okay, and you see, there is a No Frills Academy way of doing things, and there is the coaching academy way of doing things. And it is unavoidable that you will get some amount of influence from that because there are so many colleagues, friends, and those who are there with you in your group and all that, who are attending the SSB. And maybe you would have also been exposed to such stuff, seeing from YouTube or various other social media stuff. So, how much of that affect influenced you, and how did you realize that some of these things don't make sense and you should not follow them?
So, sir, initially, I had very little knowledge about SSB and the procedure, although I had gained few things about CDS exam. But when I started watching these videos on YouTube, these recommendation videos, recommendation interviews, that they were giving mock interviews as well. So I was like, I also need to do this, I think, for preparation. And sir, as it was my last attempt, I did not wanted any stones unturned in Jalandhar. But I had joined No Frills Academy because I saw your videos on YouTube. It felt very logical. It felt very practical. It is a subset of life and all this. So that's why I think I got recommended, because I was not very good in studies or anything like that. But maybe I was overall competent for the job. That's why maybe I made it. So I think, sir, the competence part at the end is the major phenomenon which helps. And I did not get much influence by this YouTube shenanigans as such, because I was not very active on that platform, because I was very busy preparing and handling my life, working, and anyways did not have much time to go there. So whatever time I had, I just went on, and maybe on laptop I just used to read newspaper. That's pretty much it, and attend the NFA sessions.
Now, you see, people would have told you, तुम्हारा second 50% में marks है, और पूछेगा interviewing officer, तो you should try and say कि कुछ फज वज करना कि ये हो गया था, problem. But that's what is the default setting of Indian society.
Yes, sir.
तो ऐसा कुछ advice तो मिला होगा आपको?
सर एडवाइस तो मतलब मैं ही सबको दे रहा हूँ कि यार सच बोलो, क्यों झूठ बोल रहे हो जाके कि मैं तो 54% बोल के आया था। तो सर ने पूछा था, इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर ने, कि इतने कम मार्क्स क्यों है तुम्हारे। तो मैंने उन्हें बोल दिया, सर फर्स्ट ईयर में मेरा फोकस नहीं था बिल्कुल भी, मैंने फुटबॉल पे फोकस किया, पढ़ाई बिल्कुल ही छोड़ दी। सेकंड ईयर में मैंने थोड़ा ट्राई किया बट हुआ नहीं, और थर्ड ईयर में मेरा आप देख सकते हैं मतलब इन मार्कशीट दैट इट इज स्टिल बेटर देन द फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड ईयर। So I told him very honestly that, sir, it's my fault. I acknowledge it. I should have balanced my priorities better. So he said, okay, no problem. He did not cross question me any further upon this. So that's my only thing, that सच बोलो और खुद को अच्छे से जानो. You will, I think, say through the interview.
Very fine. फिर अभी मैं और भी चीजें पूछूंगा। ये WAT की एडवाइस होती है, could नहीं यूज करना, should नहीं यूज करना, कुछ बहुत सारी एडवाइस होती है जो मैं नहीं जानता हूँ। तो कहीं ना कहीं से तो ये पता चला होगा आपको, ऐसी एडवाइस, पीसेस ऑफ एडवाइस क्या क्या
हाँ
होती
सर,
हैं। तो कुछ
यस सर।
उसको आपने अवॉइड किया, ये यू सेड के इधर से सुना उधर से निकाला टाइप?
सर इस पर्टिकुलर एडवाइस पे तो ऐसे कुछ अवॉइड नहीं किया, थोड़ा वैट जरूर प्रैक्टिस किया था राइटिंग स्पीड बढ़ाने के लिए, क्योंकि 60 के 60 वर्ड्स कंप्लीट हो जाए। बट आई थिंक उसमें ऑटोमेटिकली वो एप्लीकेबल हो गया, जो भी। अब मेरे को तो पता नहीं साइकोलॉजी के बारे में कि वो लोग ने कैसे असेस किया, बट वो अगर ऑटोमेटिकली एप्लीकेबल हो गया और साइकोलॉजिस्ट ने मेरे को क्लियर कर दिया, तो मेरे को क्या दिक्कत।
Understood. So you did not bother much for the advice which is existing.
No sir, no sir. सर टाइम कहाँ होता है बॉदर करने के लिए 15 सेकंड में?
नहीं बॉदर
इसलिए तो
करने
मेरा
का
फर्स्ट
तो
वर्ड छूट गया था सर।
नहीं बैक ऑफ द माइंड रहता है ना, जब ये इतनी सारी इंस्ट्रक्शंस लेके आते हैं ना लोग,
ट्रू सर, ट्रू।
बातचीत तो कर रहे होंगे ना बैरक में, गपशप में ना ऐसी चीजें करते होंगे।
हाँ
इधर
सर,
ये
होती
सिखाया,
रहती है
उधर
तो।
वो सिखाया।
होती रहती है सर ये बात तो।
Okay, fine. So there is nothing much I have to tell you or ask you. ठीक ठाक है, आपका फिजिकल फिटनेस तो अच्छा ही है, उसको कंटिन्यू रखिए. That's going to be the prime focus area as far as training is concerned. So now you are open to questions from others. Please go ahead, ask your questions.